From the hangar in Lancaster, California, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Joseph. This week in our city, Governor Newsom ends California's state of emergency. Los Angeles Children's Project celebrates success of latest graduates, the Museum of Art and History's reoccurring art social and concert series, and the Western Hotel Museum's Sewing Bee.
Celebration of National Random Acts of Kindness Day. George's Cleaners, a family-owned dry cleaner that's called Lancaster home since the late 1940s, and a tourist guide to our wonderful city of Lancaster.
California's 3-year-long state of emergency, which began as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, has finally come to an end as of Tuesday, February 28th, as Governor Gavin Newsom declared the state was finally ready to move forward. Newsom first declared a state of emergency back on March 4th, 2020, when there were only 53 known cases of COVID-19 in California. The governor's proclamation gave him the legal authority to make, amend, and rescind state regulations, suspend state statutes, and redirect state funds. It also allowed him to commandeer private property, which included hospitals, medical labs, hotels, and motels that all served as vital resources throughout the fight against a seemingly never-ending pandemic. Over the past 3 years, COVID-19 has claimed over 100,000 lives in California alone. However, Newsom says California is better prepared, and that's because we have a serious legislature, and the health ecosystem in California is second to none in the country. While the end of the state of emergency is symbolic and is sure to draw much excitement, the reality is that it will likely have little to no effect on California's nearly 40 million residents, as Governor Newsom has already lifted most of the state's restrictions, such as requiring masks when indoors, closing beaches, as well as forcing many businesses to close due to non-compliance of imposed COVID regulations. While the pandemic has been one of the most difficult times in California's recent history, Newsom believes that the state is now finally ready to move forward in hopes of a brighter future. The end of the state of emergency marks a new chapter for California and its residents. And if you're asking how this will affect our local residents here in Lancaster, the biggest change will be that the COVID-19 resources that the city was offering for over 2 years will now become permanently closed. The testing site, which was located at the Lancaster Municipal Stadium, or what many people know as the hangar, will now be shut down after years of providing exceptional care during the COVID-19 outbreak. Since the beginning of the pandemic, Mayor R.Rex Paris, in conjunction with City Council, have taken a very serious approach to protecting the community against COVID-19 by offering this resource to ensure that the city of Lancaster continues to keep our case rate as low as possible. To learn more about the decision to shut down Lancaster's largest testing site, you can visit the city's website at www.cityoflancasterca.gov/testing. And to stay up to date with everything happening in and around the city of Lancaster, be sure to tune in to L28 for more.
Los Angeles Children's Project, a nonprofit organization that provides vocational training and traditional outreach programs to disadvantaged youth, celebrated the graduation of its latest cohort of over 30 students on March 2nd. The program, which was founded by Executive Director Aaron Valencia in 2014, started as an after-school initiative to engage at-risk youth through mentorship and skills training in classic car restoration. Today, the Los Angeles Work Program has grown into a 12-week program that offers hands-on vocational training in welding, fabrication, blueprinting, engine assembly, basic electrical, auto body and paint, and composites. The Los Angeles program is specifically designed to help young people ages 18 to 24 who live in the Antelope Valley or are able to commute to their training facility in Lancaster. The program teaches highly transferable skills that can help students land jobs in the aeronautics, aerospace, automotive, and manufacturing industries. The organization's mission is to provide young people with the tools they need to succeed and open doors and opportunities that can improve their quality of life. Aaron Valencia, the founder of Los Angeles, has a passion for helping youth that stems from his own difficulties growing up and overcoming hardships. He thrives on teaching and empowering youth in the community to rise above their circumstances. After the graduation festivities came to a close, L28 spoke with Aaron, who shared with us his inspiration for the Los Angeles Project, its impact on the community, and what he's most excited for in 2023. From the Los Angeles Industrial Arts Center in Lancaster, here's L28 with more. Aaron, could you tell us a little bit about how many graduates you had this year?
This year, we're off to a pretty good start. We had 32 students, and all 32 graduated. Super grateful that all 32 actually have job offers with Northrop Grumman. So every one of our recent graduates already has a job offer and is heading to the aerospace industry.
That is amazing, and I love to hear that this is a program that sets people up for success, sets people up for job placement. What are some of the skills that you're building here at the Los Angeles program? I know that it covers all types of assets of manufacturing and beyond. Could you speak to a few of those?
Yeah, we run this as it's a classic car restoration warehouse. So our students come through and learn drilling, woodwork, auto body and paint, metal fabrication, welding. And what goes along with that is all of those skills it takes to restore a classic car is transferable into aerospace or is transferable into construction, transferable to all these high paying careers. So we use classic cars as just that kind of hook to get them in the door and make it like a fun place to show up to work every day. And meanwhile, we're giving all the wraparound services and supportive services for young people. We cater more towards high barrier, low income young people in the community that really just need that leg up, and that's kind of where we put all of our energy. Young people who need a brighter future, who are here, and we pretty strong vetting process of trying to find people who are actually hungry, who want to do what it takes for that better life. And like I said, with 32 students and all 32 graduating, I think we're excited that it's working.
Aaron, it's wonderful work what you and your staff are doing here. What gave you the inspiration for this unique work program?
Honestly, it's a combination of a lot of things hitting at the same time. You know, as like growing up in the struggle, growing up not having much, and being able to make a life for myself, and waking up one day and realizing that I wanted to give back. I wanted to take what I've been able to, the life I've created for myself by using my hands with welding and fabrication and painting, and turn that into a curriculum and help other people. So it was really, I think. A lot of our staff is come from lived experience of people who have grown up or have lived a life of kind of not having everything. So we push more of an empathy over sympathy, and we just want to be here for younger versions of ourselves, kind of. You know, all these young people that are coming up. It's really what would have worked for us when we were young. You know, so that's what we're trying to create. A lot of times, if I hear it all the time. It's like, oh, I wish I had something like this when I was a kid. I wouldn't have went down this path or ended up in jail or done all these things. So we're trying to be there for this generation or these young people now to be that place for them to come learn, feel safe, and feel like a sense of belonging, feel that they're worth it, and be proud of themselves, and give them all the resources needed to be successful.
The Los Angeles Children's Project has become an essential resource for the Antelope Valley. The program has helped hundreds of young people gain the skills they need to succeed in today's competitive job market, and their recently hired graduates have joined the ranks of industry-leading companies such as BYD, Northrop Grumman, Stratolaunch, Delta Scientific, SpaceX, and many more. With the continued support of the community and dedicated staff, Los Angeles will continue to be a beacon of hope and opportunity for the youth of Lancaster and beyond.
You know what, Ryan? It really inspires me and makes me happy to see the work that what the Los Angeles are doing here, providing that pipeline for the youth to get these nice mortgage-paying jobs.
Absolutely. You know, I had the pleasure to be there at the graduation, and it was really a heartfelt, warming celebration. You know, people were joined by their families, their brothers, sisters, and siblings that were there encouraging them and really celebrating that 12-week program that they just successfully completed. And, you know, they're taught from all types of industries that they might enter. So there's a lot of valuable skills that they're teaching there. And, you know, I really got to give it up to Aaron Valencia for what him and the board of directors are doing.
Yeah, definitely. Shout outs to Aaron Valencia, who's very open with his struggles and upbringing, and what a leader for the students to have. Someone who's been there before, and someone who's always going to be there for them when they do need that help. Again, you know.
Exactly. And when you're struggling and you're going through hardship, you know, who better than someone who's been through those hard times to kind of be your beacon of light to get you through it.
Absolutely.
Don't go anywhere. When we return from the break, we'll be covering the MOAH Cedars Art Socials, a space for everyone to come together and create something unique with the guidance of rotating artists, along with the MOAH Cedars concert series, which brings bands from all over to the MOAH Cedars Ballroom.
Welcome back to L28. This next segment will be focusing on MOAH Cedar's Art Social, a recurring event that serves as a way for community members to create art projects in the Andrew Frieder Creative Space and the exciting concert series hosted by the MOAH Cedar that brings live entertainment to the Boulevard. True to the mission of strengthening awareness, increasing accessibility, and inspiring appreciation for art and culture here in the Antelope Valley, the Museum of Art and History and its sister establishment, the MOAH Cedar, are constantly opening their doors and inviting the community to enter the world of art and culture with dynamic exhibitions and entertaining events for people from all walks of life to attend, as the MOAH is compliant with the American Disabilities Act. The Andrew Frieder's creative space is a vital part of what makes trips to the MOAH Cedar so unique, as the entire studio is donated by the late artist's family in hopes of keeping art alive here in the city, and now serves as a resource for community members to come in and explore the creative side. The space provides its visitors with a wealth of free art materials, some of which include canvases, acrylic paints, paintbrushes, markers, colored pencils, and various art add-ons like feathers and googly eyes. The MOAH Cedar uses the Andrew Frieder Creative Space, or AFCS, to host art socials which promotes inclusivity and brings like-minded individuals together in a shared space. L28 was able to stop by and see what the art social was all about. The atmosphere was lively as participants and volunteers of all ages gathered in the AFCS for an evening full of painting, beaded bracelet making, googly eye craft making, and what can be considered a fan favorite, free refreshments. A typical art social consists of various art supplies provided by the institution to participants and their loved ones, as their creative freedom is let loose and encouraged. Volunteers monitored the space, ensuring that guests at the art social were comfortable and had everything they needed to complete their project, offering praises and providing constructive feedback to all. The Museum of Art and History itself has a myriad of programming and spaces for residents and visitors alike to take part in. Their sensory-friendly programming prides itself of being a space that invites community members who experience autism and or other hyper and hyposensitivities to use their calming tools and participate in a free sensory-friendly art activity during their hours of operation located on the MOAH's website. Similar to the SFP, the Take a Break space is the perfect place to go when you need to get away from the chaos of life and enjoy something quiet time with noise-canceling headphones, kinetic sand, snacks, and water. And for those who have hearing impairments, the MOAH invites you to participate in visual language tours which are led by a guide from the facility and certified American Sign Language interpreter who take a group of up to 20 participants on a guided tour throughout the facility. You can keep up with the latest news from the MOAH by visiting the social medias at MOAH Lancaster. And if you're interested in learning more about what the Boulevard Museum of Art and History has to offer the community, visit their user-friendly website, lancastermoah.org.
On Saturday, March 10th, the MOAH Cedar Concert Series came alive with an amazing night of music and entertainment for local residents. The event was in honor of the Days of Punk exhibit by Michael Greco, which displayed his collection of photography from his decades of participation in the Boston punk scene from the 1970s through the 1990s, during which time he captured raw and electrifying photos of iconic bands such as the Ramones, Devo, the Cramps, Talking Heads, the Dead Kennedys, and more. The concert series at the MOAH Cedar featured performances by talented local bands and musicians, including Shiva, The Downsides, and legendary punk band Channel 3, providing an incredible musical experience for everyone. The night started off with a bang as Shiva took to the stage, unleashing their hardcore punk rock sound and electrifying the audience with their energy. The band's unique blend of punk and metal had the crowd on their feet, moshing and singing along, setting the tone for a night of great music. The Downsides followed with their unique style, showcasing their talents as one of the best punk bands in the area. Their blend of punk rock, pop punk, and hardcore resonated with the crowd, and their catchy melodies and infectious energy had the crowd singing and dancing along. Finally, the legendary punk band Channel 3 took to the stage to close the show with their classic punk rock hits. With over 3 decades of experience, the band proved why they are one of the most respected and influential punk bands in Los Angeles. The MOAH Cedar Concert Series was a night to remember. showcasing the incredible talent and creativity of local artists and musicians in the area. With great music, free refreshments, and merchandise available to support the musicians, it was a night of celebration and community, demonstrating the power of music to bring people together. L28 spoke with Jason Jen, assistant curator for the MOAH Cedar, who told us more about the concert, the impact that events such as these have on the community, and the MOAH's plans for encouraging local musicians with the forthcoming opening of their very own studio space, Studio 606. From the MOAH Cedar Hall, here's our L28 correspondent with more.
Glad to meet you, Jason.
Nice to meet you.
I was wondering if you could tell the people out there what we're doing here.
Well, we have a special concert tonight. It's part of our usual concert series that we do, but this one is a little special because we have an exhibition of punk rock photography by the renowned photographer Michael Greco at our MOAH Cedar Gallery. And so we have a punk rock concert tonight featuring Channel 3, as well as our local AV punk rock bands, Shiva and the Downsides.
That's awesome. So yes, Days of Punk, Michael Greco. This is kind of setting up and launching off this very nice concert series. Out of all those bands, which ones are you looking forward to, and what events are you most interested in?
Oh, I'm looking forward to all of the bands. It's really nice that we are a place where we support local artists and we give free concerts to the public. We pay the bands, and our local bands, the Downsides and the Shiva, are really good. But Channel 3 has a long history of providing punk rock in Southern California. So that's, I think, what a lot of people are looking forward to see here. That's a little special tonight.
The MOAH Cedar has that motto, a space for you. Again, can you just go ahead and elaborate on that for us, Jason?
Yes, well, it very much is a place that has free programming for all walks of life, all, from young to old. We have our Spotlight Cafe, which happens every Friday night. We have our concert series that happens almost every month. We've got our figure drawing classes, which again are free, and people can drop in. They don't have to, be experienced drawers, but they can learn and get that experience. And we have a zine social. People can come and make zines, which are handcrafted, do-it-yourself published art magazines. So we're going to have a zine social here on March 19th, which is also in support of Michael Greco's Days of Punk exhibition. Again, we just have all manner of wonderful programming that is a space for you, MOAH Cedar.
For more information on upcoming events, art activities, and exhibits at the MOAH Cedar, visit their website at moahcedar.org.
Hey, Ryan, I'm really excited about what the MOAH and the MOAH Cedar is having to offer the community with a studio space, 606. You can make your own music, podcasts even, and also direct some things. It's really great that it's offering what it's offering to the community.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it's going to, inspire that next generation of artists who, have the idea, but maybe don't have the resources to kind of make those ideas reality, right? So to be able to put those thoughts on paper, and like you mentioned, whether it's a podcast, a conversational type thing, or if it's, the next up and coming band wanting to record their first album or EP, I think it's going to be a great space for residents and guests alike.
Yeah, and that concert series, if you haven't yet gone to the concert series or taken advantage of it, you're really missing out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had the chance to be there and kind of report on it. And, the energy was so captivating, I found myself in the mosh pit, not after much time. So when we return from the break, L28 will be covering the Western Hotel Museum's monthly sewing bee, led by expert seamstress Cynthia Rapko, along with the celebration of National Acts of Kindness Day.
Thank you for tuning in to L28. The team will be talking about one of the Western Hotel Museum's Fun for Everyone event, their monthly sewing bee, and the history of National Acts of Kindness Day. Let's get right into it. Lancaster's art hubs are a great resource for anyone looking to participate in free activities, and the historic Western Hotel Museum's monthly sewing bees are no exception. These monthly gatherings bring in expert seamstress and owner of Field of Thread, Cynthia Rapko, for a morning full of learning how to sew, as Cynthia guides guests on the very basics of sewing to sewing in a variety of different stitching styles. The sewing bee is a fun art project for the whole family and is suited to all skill levels. According to the master seamstress, the first ever sewing bee was held in 1883 in the very same room where the L28 team sat down to learn a little bit more about Cynthia Rapko and her passion for sewing. Let's take a look as Rapko spoke with us about her start in the craft while teaching one of her brightest students how to bring her Clover keychain Greenie to life. From the Western Hotel Museum, here's L28's correspondent Angel with more. Take it away, Angel.
So I actually started sewing 20 years ago. I'm old now, I know. I started sewing when I was back in middle school. I got into my mom's sewing kit and I started mending my clothing. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so I got a lot of my sister's hand-me-down clothing, and so I wanted to alter it and, make it cool with going to school starting the new year. So I just started getting into her kit and started hand sewing things, and I just started teaching myself how to hand sew. And then when I got into high school freshman year, I got to take a home ec class, and then I got to work with an actual sewing machine, and then I became hooked ever since then. My grandmother bought me a sewing machine for Christmas that year, and then I started making everything from handbags to quilts, to stuffed animals, to Christmas gifts for everyone every year. And then back in 2015, I got lucky enough to start working for a local designer out here. And she pretty much took me under her wing and taught me clothing fundamentals and taught me how to sew things that I never had any knowledge of. I never had any experience of it. She really took me under her wing and gave me college education. And so with that, I started my own business and started making anything boho, fringe-related clothing. I'm a sucker for anything lace and embroidery. So I started doing that, and then I got introduced to start teaching to the community and start bringing back something that hadn't been around, I think, since I want to say like 1883 or something about that, like is when the sewing bee, I think, last started here. And so they were trying to bring something back to the community. Oh, you doing okay? And this was actually the room where sewing bees used to be hosted. And so I was honored to be able to be a part of this and to be able to share with the community something that is so near and dear to my heart, and share with the next generation and see their little minds just explore this whole new adventure of sewing and creating something out of nothing. And so that's where I've started, and that's where I'm at now. So I'm just so honored to be able to do this and share this with everyone.
Is there any way that community members who are interested in your products can sort of find them? So do you have a business or social media?
Yes. So I've had a business called Feel the Thread. I'm actually celebrating my 10 years of owning my own business. It's in 2 weeks, 10 years. Feel the Thread. I have an Etsy shop. I have an Instagram account, Feel the Thread. You can find me, again, any boho, Western wear, kind of fashion, anything with fringe. That's what I specialize in.
Cynthia's passion for sewing certainly shows, as her skillful instruction helped participants of the sewing bee not only create keychains and bags, but also how to sew different stitches commonly used in sewing. This class is beneficial in teaching its guests a thing or two about garment repair as well, something that mother and guest to the event, Jessica Godey, described as an essential life skill that's no longer being taught. Let's hear what she had to say.
So first time attending a sewing bee, is sewing sort of a hobby that you guys have just started, or is it one that you've been doing and you wanted to pick it up again?
We're pretty much just now getting into it. We've done some other craft things in the past, but this is our first experience really with anything having to do with sewing. My grandmother and my mom both were into sewing and, created clothes for us growing up. But unfortunately, it wasn't something that got passed down. And now I saw this as an opportunity to do something with my daughter here.
No, definitely. Because I know in schools, there would be classes like home economics, which unfortunately aren't offered too much nowadays. So what are your feelings and thoughts behind that too?
I think it's unfortunate because learning to sew and all of those other things that you would learn in a class like home ec are life skills that our kids unfortunately aren't able to really learn in the same way that they used to, decades ago. And so it's really awesome to have this opportunity and kind of work that into some of our activities that we're able to enjoy and have fun with.
Definitely. Like you mentioned, it's sort of like a generational things that you want to pass down. And so when that kind of fades out, little things like a button coming off of a shirt, or you have to stitch up a hole really quick, It seems like it's not that big a deal, but learning how to sew, like you were saying, is definitely a life skill.
Yeah, I agree. And, something like that could really deter somebody from trying to try it on their own, even though with one class, like I've already learned so much and I have all that much more confidence when, they get holes and missing buttons and, now I'm like, okay, I can do that on my own now.
So you mentioned you've learned so much. What are some of the different stitches that you guys are learning? Because I know it's St. Patrick's Day oriented.
So we're learning a back stitch and then a running stitch, and she's got a whole packet full of 6 or 7 different stitches that we haven't learned all of those yet, but we get to take it home and we could even try it on our own if we want to before we do the next class.
Oh, awesome. So do you think you guys will be returning to future sewing bees?
We were just talking about that on our lunch break, and it's definitely something we want to come back and continue to do.
The sewing bee isn't just an opportunity to further hone one's sewing skills and expand her knowledge. Jessica Diaz, a technical assistant with the Museum of Art and History, said during her interview with L28 that events like these ones create a space that allows families and their loved ones to spend time together. Let's head back to the sewing bee to hear about upcoming events to look out for the Western Hotel Museum. Take it away, Angel.
Basically, what we do is it is a ticketed event, but we hold these events for the community so they could come in and we'll learn from our master seamstress how to sew. She puts on different projects depending on what's going on. So today's is for St. Patrick's Day. For February, it was Valentine's Day. So yeah, you can expect to have someone teach you the basics of sewing and the importance of why and all the good stuff. This is the third event that I work with the seamstress. It's always the same one. And there's going to be 3 more scheduled for the summer. Aside from the projects being therapeutic, a lot of what we aim for too is for families to come and get together to socialize. I think that was the most important part of this event was to get their kids and other families to come in and have time together and learn something new.
Awesome. So it sounds like the sewing bees aren't just a community event put on to bring people in, but it's also a way for, like you were saying, families to sort of get that quality time after a long week where people may have had work or school. So Jessica, what are some positive impacts that you feel events like this one have on community members?
I think a lot of the times, people are looking for spaces, open spaces for their kids. I think a lot of community events are targeted and geared towards more, socializing family and friends and making sure that there's spaces and, availability for children to learn new things or their family members. Doesn't have to be children, it can also be an adult to come. But yeah, I think that the biggest impact that it has is, just like that learning capability that, we're providing these spaces to learn something new.
To keep with all things art related here in Lancaster, visit the lancastermoa.org. And to see the dates of upcoming events happening on the boulevard, visit the moacedar.org.
February 17th marked National Random Acts of Kindness Day, a day that is dedicated to spreading positivity and kindness to others around you. The annual occasion was celebrated here in Lancaster as well as across the country, as the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation has been celebrating this day since its conception back in 1995, with the sole purpose of spreading kindness amidst frequent exposure to stressors throughout our daily lives, and learning how to overcome the negative with the positive. Brooke Jones, Vice President of the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation, says that despite the horrible things that continue to occur throughout the world, there is still much to be grateful for, as beautiful things are happening all around us, and it's up to us to choose what we focus our time and energy on. While living consciously with kindness at the forefront of our attention offers many benefits, such as creating a positive impact on our health and well-being, it can also help garner respect for leaders and is considered one of the most desirable traits in romantic partners. The ripple effect of kindness benefits others as well, as observers who see kindness have their own heightened or elevated response to it, making kindness a truly contagious feeling. Some of the less apparent advantages are its physiological benefits, which include reduced social anxiety, improved immune system, positive impacts on stress levels, depression, and anxiety, and even blood pressure. I mean, personally, it takes a lot more effort for me to remain angry about something rather than to just be friendly and happy throughout the day. The Random Acts of Kindness movement is believed to have started over 40 years ago in the Bay Area, when journalist and writer Ann Herbert coined the phrase, Practice Random Kindness and Senseless Acts of Beauty in her article published in the former Coevolution Quarterly Journal in 1982. The article sparked a kindness movement that spread quickly to surrounding areas and inspired local readers to start showing random acts of kindness that year. The foundation launched in 1995 to facilitate future celebrations that would occur each year during Valentine's Day week. To participate in National Random Acts of Kindness Day, Jacqueline Lindsay, co-founder and CEO of kindness.org, suggests starting with small and simple acts of kindness. This could be anything from complimenting somebody, reaching out to someone who matters to you and asking how they're doing, donating food, goods, or even blood, or just leaving extra quarters at a laundromat for someone who might need them more than you. Small actions like these are just as impactful as acknowledging someone who deserves praise, helping an elderly person with a task, donating used books to a library, or expressing gratitude to a colleague who is going unnoticed. All of these simple random acts of kindness will amount to much more than you can imagine. By just practicing one of these, you can actively start to make someone's day better, and chances are they'll pass it on. National Random Acts of Kindness Day offers a refreshing opportunity to spread positivity, promote well-being, and make kindness the norm.
So Ryan, National Random Acts of Kindness Day, freely giving compliments out, being thankful, showing gratitude. What's your number one choice of acts of kindness?
You know, I think it's a little bit of a cliche, but it can definitely brighten somebody's day. Just paying for the person behind you in line, right? If you're picking up a coffee at your favorite coffee stop, some fast food, if you do that, like, in our report, chances are that person's going to pass it on to the person behind him, and it can be contagious.
It certainly is. That's why I always follow you. I'm usually following right behind you. No, seriously, those gestures do go a long way. And anybody can be having a bad day, and it's just furthermore strikes up the faith in humanity, right? When somebody does something nice, totally from the heart, it's really something that's contagious, and you can really, carry that somewhere else. And,
I mean, you have no idea how that little gesture might have affected somebody whose life, has really been stressful or has really been going through a difficult time. And, that could mean everything to that person.
Absolutely.
So glad you could join us today. When we come back from the commercial break, today's episode will be focusing on family-owned and longtime establishment George's Cleaners, along with the skating events put on at American Heroes Park by Peace, Love, and Skate.
Thank you for tuning in to L28. We'll be concluding the episode with George's Cleaners, a dry cleaning service that's been in business since the 1940s, as well as the roller skating events at American Heroes Park, organized by Peace, Love, and Skate. The city of Lancaster is one that has a rich history, with many of its buildings on the boulevard standing tall from decades past, like the Western Hotel Museum, that's been around to live through the 19th and 20th centuries. This historic location serves as an anchor to Lancaster's past with display cases that show artifacts from the hotel's rich history, including owner Murdy Weber, glasses, Bible, and a card that celebrates her 100th birthday. Adding to the list of historic businesses in Lancaster is George's Cleaners, a dry cleaning service that made its home on Lancaster Boulevard in the late 40s. But before the dry cleaning service came to be, the building operated as Carter's Barn under George Black, a third-generation blacksmith. Back when Lancaster was in its pioneer era, the demand for blacksmiths was high, as horses needed to be shod, tools needed to be made, and equipment required repairs. If you could name it, chances were George Black could do it. Later on, George went on to open Carter's Barn, which would bring sporting activities to Lancaster's Beach Avenue and now Milling Street. As fate would have it, Carter's Barn would later go on to be owned by another individual by the name of George Poulos, who came to the Antelope Valley in 1936 to work on his wife's family ranch. However, in 1945, Poulos would leave the ranch and take up a job as the general manager for a local dry cleaner. Fast forward to 1947, George Poulos would acquire a $25,000 loan to continue the family legacy, having been the son of a Los Angeles dry cleaner, and opened up his own dry cleaning service, George's Cleaners. During 1954, the service relocated and took the place of what was once George's Black Carter's Barn and has since been a full-service family-owned and operated dry cleaner for several generations. George himself was quoted accrediting the success of the business to quality and excellent customer service, a sentiment that holds true to this day. Currently owned by Chris and Monica Gatto, there now exists 3 George's Cleaners locations within Antelope Valley, and has catered to the legacy by providing quality service which earned it a spot as one of the best dry cleaning services in the area. Some of the services offered include high standard dry cleaning, alterations, patching, sewing buttons, repairing torn seams, tapering and replacing zippers, pulleys, and much more. To learn more about the long operating George's Cleaners and the services they offer, you can visit their website, georgescleanersandlaundry.com.
On Saturday, March 11th, Peace, Love, and Skate held their second family day of the year at the Community Building in American Heroes Park. This time, the event was in honor of Women's History Month. Attendees had a blast participating in various activities, including games, giveaways, skate lessons, and crafts for kids. After hours of fun, the group ended their activity with Love Fit, a self-love group movement with guided affirmations and exercises, and enchanting sound bowls that add to the experience. I had the opportunity to catch up with the founders and organizers of Peace, Love, and Skate, Daisha J.P. Underwood, Starchild, and Lonnie Perkins, to learn more about the organization behind these events.
Can you tell us a little bit about how Peace, Love, and Skate is spreading love and peace throughout our community?
We are putting on events for the community to bring out skaters that are in this area, because we have to drive like 2 or 3 hours just to go to a skating rink, and there's a lot of skaters here. So we decided to get together and like form a group and start doing events. And Deja can tell you more about like how it all started.
Yes, well, we actually started out skating in our parks here locally in Lancaster. We definitely need roller skating here locally, and so every month we are here in this space skating every Thursday for adults, and then we have one family day per month, and we use the donations from those events to give back locally. So this week, or this month, our nonprofit is Mighty Little Giants that we're giving back to locally. So
That is fantastic. Anything you'd like to add to that, Lonnie?
Yeah, I mean, we just try to keep it positive, a very positive atmosphere for the kids, a free space, and it really works out well. Everybody seems to enjoy it.
Yeah, and I mean, from being here, it really is fun for the whole family. Everybody here is having such a great time. Whether or not they have skates on, they're still, dancing, interacting, having fun with their friends and family. So I love that. Can you tell us a little bit about the motivation for Peace, Love, and Skates Foundation?
We just want to spread peace. We want to create a space of love, and we want to have a space to skate. And usually skaters are very positive, and so we want to bring up another generation, the younger generation of skaters, and have them with that same positive peace and love energy, because that's really, what it's about. It's how our community will stay well, wellness, spiritually, mentally, physically. So we're just trying to encourage that, by creating events that the whole family can come to and just enjoy themselves.
I love that. And I'm going to pass it over to you, Daisha. You did mention that after you guys are done skating, you do have a meditation session with the class. Can you give me a little bit of information on the backstory on that?
yeah. So as goes with our brand, Peace, Love, and Skate, we really believe in helping people to practice peacefulness on the inside as well. So that wellness encompasses everything. So after our sessions with the family, we have some sound baths led by Starchild. And then I also do some Love Fit, where we do some group affirmations at the end, making sure that when people leave this space that they're practicing self-love and they know they're valued.
I love that. And Lonnie, what would you say is your personal favorite aspect of these events?
Oh, I love just the freedom and also just the positive feel there, and everybody's just like it's a good space. Everybody's in a good mood, and it's like it's something that's available, And it's like I just love the family, and everybody's coming out, and it's like no big deal. If you fall, you fall. Get up, let's keep going. Well, let's have fun.
Yeah, and I saw that. I mean, there's definitely that it's a family vibe where you help each other up if somebody falls. And I love that you guys are doing it here at the community building, because this floor is a wooden floor, right? So it's a lot softer, a lot better for the roller skates, right, than if we were doing it like at the park, for example. So kind of closing things out, would you guys like to tell us about any future events that you have planned in the near future? Any shout outs to people who kind of made this possible? I'll kind of give you guys the floor for that.
Okay, so I would like to say that on Tuesday, Daisha has this amazing Love Fit class that everybody can come to, and it's just so amazing. My teenagers, they don't like to do anything, but she has them wanting to go. They're asking me like, Tuesday night, we're going to Love Fit. I'm like, yeah. So she has that on Tuesdays, and then every Thursday we have an adult skate night here from 6:30 to 9. And then once a month, like Daisha said, we're going to be doing like family events. And we're trying to incorporate, like maybe weekly, have a teen event so we can incorporate teens, to create a whole skate family,
I love it.
Positive energy.
I love it. I love it. And Daisha, same question. Anything you'd like to highlight? Any shout outs you'd like to share?
Yeah. Big shout out to Lancaster Parks for helping us make this happen, as well as the Lancaster Social Equity Committee for really supporting this idea and this cause. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Lovely,
And
lovely.
Thank you to this awesome team right here with me. Really making things happen. So.
And Lonnie, same question. Anything that you'd like to highlight as far as upcoming events, or a shout out you'd like to share?
Well, just like my team said, we have a great team. It's a very positive atmosphere. There is definitely peace. It's a peaceful atmosphere. It's definitely love, and we get to skate. So I just love it here. I love working with my daughter and my sister over here, and we just have a good time. We have a good time.
Starchild, who provided the sound bowls at the event, shared her excitement about the organization's mission. Quote, "We love what peace, love, and skate stands for. It's all about spreading good vibes and positivity, which is something we're all about." The founders expressed their excitement about continuing their indoor skate parties and events. They currently have events for all ages on Saturdays and skate parties for adults on Thursday nights. The hall at American Heroes Park on Thursday, March 23rd, was illuminated with strobe lights, and the atmosphere was perfectly complemented by their playlist of 70s funk, soul, hip-hop, and R&B. We're planning to host more events like this one with different themes and activities. Our goal is to create a space where everyone can come together, have fun, and spread love, said Underwood. To find out more about the upcoming Peace, Love, and Skate events at American Heroes Park, be sure to follow them at Peace, Love, and Skate on Instagram. Thank you for tuning in to the City of Lancaster's news. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Joseph. And this has been L28 News.